Hello, everyone. Hello, Daniela. I'm really happy and excited to have you in our podcast series. In this podcast series, we are going to inspire. And basically, when I hear your story, I said, oh my gosh, I have to have that lady in my series and brought to the audience your story because, in my opinion, it's amazing. And what you do is, first of all, you're thriving your life, and at the same time, you're inspiring others and thrive their life. So, Daniela, welcome you in my podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's like when you're saying this already, it's like, yeah, where I'm coming from, and then where I am now. This is such a big journey, and I think I'm a totally different person than I was about 20 years ago when I have this little Daniela in mind, who I was then, and then what happened during my journey and how I emerged. I'm really completely different now, and that's why I want to use this journey of mine to inspire also other ladies.
Okay, absolutely. This is great. Daniela, you mentioned, and I know you mentioned that the previous Daniela, because the previous Daniela, maybe we can tap into into that, because the previous Daniela came from tiny part, now is international, now is global, is having international career, very successful. But like you mentioned, you are pivoting. And what I want to emphasize in this interview, it's never too late to drive the changes. So that's why I'm asking the first question. Mm-hmm. What is the primary trigger to have a successful career working for, first of all, Disney, Airbnb, be approached by Apple, I think a few times, isn't it?
Yes.
And then pivoting the career towards the life coaching. So, Daniela, can you give us what is the primary trigger which push you into that direction, completely changing the career right now?
I became a coach already before I did this career, but I was always anxious to go this step and then do it as a self-employed person. So this is where I was coming from. I became a psychological coach about 13 years ago during my time at the logistics company in Germany. And then Apple approached me, and I used all this knowledge also in the companies. I was always about coaching, and that is what I was known for at the company. So at Apple, I was coaching teams. Then Google called me, or Accenture, for a Google project. And then they wanted me to coach their teams to get them to the quality standards that they needed to have. And I was really successful in it. And I always combined my business coaching with life coaching. So whenever I had to coach teams or in one-on-one coachings, I was always using all the methods that I knew. And at a certain point, I couldn't resist the calling, the urge that I have since many years to help women to reconnect with themselves, because this is also what I did with the women in my team. I saw that many of the women are struggling and that they think they have to be like men in the business world, or even in their private life, they are not connecting with their own needs. They are always putting others first and then totally forgetting about themselves, or they come like me from an abusive background and forgetting themselves. And that's why I decided last year already that I really need to go on with that I need to focus on this. When I'm in the business world and in corporate world, it's great. I love this. But I can't focus on what I want to do. And that's why I really shifted myself to follow my inner voice, and then to get to finally my holistic approach to help women not only in business, but to give them the full package, so to say, because I have the knowledge of the business world, but I bring also the knowledge of all the other things with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also see, like you mentioned in your description of your career, that you focus on yourself, like doing this self-development, which help you to drive the teams. And like you mentioned, the big players, the big companies, they approach you to help. I don't want to use the word fixing, but driving the teams. And from that experience, can you give also the people who are leading the team still in the corporate or in a private environment, what is the primary not trigger issue which you figure out where you haven't called like a person to go to fix it? Because if I remember when we had a primary discussion, you mentioned when the team was left without the leader, you are the one, okay, Daniela, can you come and fix it? This is because you know how to do it. So what you observe in that situation, what is missing element to put the team together from your experience?
There are certain things that I always try to have in mind when I was brought into teams, either difficult teams or teams without team leaders. They are completely insecure because they didn't have that much connection. It might be, if it's a difficult team, it might be that the connection to their own team leader got lost over the time because of issues. And then they are becoming more and more insecure. So what I always do at the beginning, when I go into teams, I start with having constantly meetings. So team meetings to see how are they communicating with each other. If it's in an office environment, also sitting with them to see how are they working with each other. In one-to-ones, I ask them to tell me about themselves. What is their background, but not only business-wise, what is their private background? We need to know, so we don't need to know in details what the private issues are, but we need to understand if there is a private issue, this might have an impact on their work, and this might also cause issues then in the team environment, in the systemic environment. And then I do really the holistic approach to also to ask them, okay, what do you like about your work? Where are the difficulties? Where do you see your personal difficulties in the work? And connect via this with them. And then I have a basis to coach. And if I see, for sure, it's not my task to coach them on their private issues, but then I have the approach at least to give them a bit of coaching in that direction, so that they have the security. Okay, Daniela is my team leader, but I know if I have an issue, I have her back, and she's there for me, and I'm not let down again from my team leader, so to say. So I prepare them on a run about 1 to 3 months to really work and trust team leaders again.
Okay, you know what I see absolutely in your task, which you describe your authenticity, you know, your authentic leadership, because it's a very common word. Let's be authentic, you know, in the work what we do. So what would be your advice and the elements for the leaders, because you are ahead, you know, because you did this inner work for yourself. But what would be the common thing which you might give also as advice for the one who is starting, you know, because there is another phrase which is coming to my mind. We cannot change the world if we don't change ourselves. And that approach in you, yeah?
So first of all, as a team leader, I always have, I show my emotions. Okay. It's not that I'm hiding, yeah? If I don't know a thing, I tell them, okay, I don't know the answer yet, but I will get the answer and I will give it to you until then. If I don't have it, then there is an update, hey, I'm still waiting on the answer. So I'm showing I'm a real person, I'm not a robot. And sometimes it's also, there might be decisions from above which you have to give to the team, where you maybe think, okay, it's not 100% correct. So it's not that I'm then telling them, oh yeah, that's a great decision, we need to do this. Yeah, so I'm going in there and I'm like, we had this talk also at Disney. There was a decision done, and we knew this will not work on the German market. But I was like, okay, guys, we know we have all the concerns about this, but it's a decision from above. So we will follow this decision. We will do what they ask us to do. And then in about a month or 6 weeks, we will have the first metrics, as we will have the first proofs if it's working or not. And then I have a discussion basis. If it's not working, then I can show with numbers it's not working. But if it's working, then okay, then we are totally fine. And that's how I'm never hiding things. Mm-hmm. As much as I can be honest, I am. And that's what I think also drives the connection.
Yes, absolutely. I highly agree with you. Based on my corporate experience, I always choose transparency, and I'm choosing still the transparency, even though but you did it in a mindful way, isn't it? Because that approach, people might think it might put me in a weak position, mm-hmm. but you prove it clearly it's not. It's basically the strengths which you gain and the respect from your team, isn't it? This is
exactly.
Okay. Awesome. Daniela, I know you are having international experience. Mm-hmm. You communicate and understand 6 languages. Because you've been working, moving from this tiny village in Germany.
Yes.
You explore the world and you have been international jobs and career. How that experience help you in terms of what you do right now, in your private coaching area? So how that one changed you, and what was, if you pull a bit curtains and show us through your example, what was it?
I have to bring several examples, because there are so many things in my life which brought me to, or helped me to become the person that I am right now, and to help me develop the things that I'm teaching now or coaching on. So first of all, you mentioned that tiny little village, yeah? And we were always traveling, so this was not an issue. I saw the world already as a kid. The world as a German from a little village was, oh, we are going to Ibiza. We're going to Cyprus. Mm-hmm. Oh, Canary Islands was the highlight. Yeah, so then we were in New York when I was 14, and I was like, whoa, yeah, big city. But then during my studies, we always had to do 3 months in a company as an internship. And I got this call from Lufthansa for being responsible for a marketing project in Istanbul. And I was like, whoa, Istanbul.
Really?
At that time, I was like, okay, that tiny little village girl, yeah, goes to Istanbul. I made it. I did the project was really great and was successful, and was an amazing time. But this had already an impact on me. It showed me, oh yeah, I need to go out there. I want to see more of the world. I want to explore several countries and things like this. So I had this urge already before, but I always put myself back, and then I really was like, no, I need to do this again. So throughout my studies, I was traveling. I was in Spain, I was in, as I said, in Turkey. So wherever I was able to get a internship outside of Germany, I was like, yeah, I'm here. So coaching wise, Google. The Google project was the one that gave me the biggest input, the biggest drive here. Google itself, it's a very tough environment if you're working in their call centers. There are changes within 2 hours sometimes. So they make a decision in the morning, and the decision in the afternoon might be a completely different one. So you really have to work with the teams on a constant basis to get there to them to work according to the Google strategies. And this helped me so much to develop also the methods that I can use and in such tough environments and then be successful with them. Life-wise, I learned a lot about my health during the time in Dublin.
Okay, so which means you experienced health issues. This is what you try to say?
Yes, I was responsible for a call center in India for Airbnb, for the quality there. And during the travels there, I got a parasite, but they weren't able to find out in Dublin for more than 6 months. So this taught me a lot about listening to my body, listening to my intuition, and then what is good for me, which medication is good for me. So I really got a sense about, okay, what's going on in my body. Personal wise, that's the one here in Barcelona, and I'm only here since 2.5 years. But during the pandemic now, and then with all the lockdowns, the fights in the streets became more. So you can really see that there is this, I don't want to say an anger mode coming up, but people are showing more of their angry side at the moment.
Frustration?
Yeah, it's more about, oh, this person said something about me, this person did something, oh, this person has stolen something, so I can beat this person. So I'm always the person to go into, at least here in my area. Whenever I see something, I go in there and I'm like talking to these people. I try to calm them down, and this is what gave me or showed me how strong I am nowadays. When I look back 20 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to go into such a fight. I wouldn't have had the strength to stand up for a person lying on the floor. And that's where I see, wow, I evolved so much. I learned so much in the past years about myself. I reconnected with myself. I have the strength in me to help. Okay. Yeah, so this is what it's a complex answer for that question, what the international club brought you. Like you mentioned, it's very typical, I would say very common in the corporate world, where we, in this space of achieving, running, reaching the goals, traveling, like you mentioned, changing the countries, of course, we are learning new things, but at the same time, we might sacrifice our health. This is what happened to you, and this is what I'm happening. In some people, it's even going into harsh direction, like a burnout, which is, and what you experience, I think is extremely important, what you can give to the people who are there, who might have that struggle. Then it's driving me to the next question, basically, because this corporate experience, this ups and downs, drive you to create Sunrise Delight, yeah, which is your brand, which is your company. And can you tell me and us why such a name and what that company is doing, basically, So Sunrise Delight, I will start with the name and then I will explain what is behind Sunrise Delight. So Sunrise Delight is a combination of two things that represent myself. So Sunrise stands for new beginnings, the shining after the darkness, the connection with life. Imagine when you're sitting at a beach or you're on a mountain and the sun rises, how do you feel? And this is actually what I went through. I went through the darkness and then came back to the light. And this is actually also what I'm helping women with to explore again, to connect again. The other one, the delight, it reminds me on Turkish delights, yeah, the deliciousness, the sweetness, because I'm a food lover, but also delight stands for creativity, and creativity is a big part of my life. It's not only shown in the trainings that I'm giving, because the trainings are always a combination of theory with a lot of creativity parts in there where people can explore, but also I'm a creative person. I paint shoes, I do macrame, I do sketching, origami. I love music, so I learned several instruments in my life, all these things. And then, so this is a combination. The name is a combination of what I am, who I am. And Sunrise Delight has several columns. One of that column is the coaching column. One is the training column. So coaching is life coaching and business coaching. Then I give trainings. My first training is about to be published. I'm in the test phase right now. And then the next two parts or the next two columns will be something with creativity. So this is what I'm exploring right now, how to do it. But I'm asked to sell the painted shoes. So we will see if I can make a business out of this. I need to check for certain things how I can do it.
Yeah, this is really amazing. So you are using that strength as well in that dimension. Great. You mentioned about the sunrise, the light, coming from the darkness to the lightness. And what do you experience, and also through your experience, what is holding people back? Still be stuck in that darkness, So if you could give that hint, a little bit of remedy, that would be really awesome.
I went really through a lot of darkness in my life. I mentioned already abuse, which was not only a physical abuse, it's also sexual abuse. So I went all through that in my life. And it was really tough for me. There was 1 year when I came out of an abusive relationship. I directly went into a new relationship, became pregnant, lost the kids, lost my job. And then that was the time where I really fell completely down, because that was my burnout time. What held me back all these years to really become the person that I wanted to be, or to do the things that I wanted to be in the times where I'm from a tiny village. So there are all these restrictions or rules, which are not really rules, but people are looking at you. Oh, she's a bit weird. Yeah. So they start talking, and for sure the families are afraid of this gossip things. And then you have the parents telling you, no, Daniela, you can't do this. You can't go abroad. You have a very good life here. You have this job here. So don't give this up. You don't know what the job world will bring you in a foreign country. You don't have the security. And they are right. It is like it is. And then I had the boyfriends who told me like, oh yeah, we can go abroad, but let's wait a year. And then the year passed. And then it was like, yep, no, we have to wait another year. And then that year passed. And then, so there are so many things going on in our life. So I'm not judging at all, because there are so many things in everybody's life who can restrict or who feel like boundaries. But when we look at it, now I understand. My family was afraid that something happens to me. So they are telling me all the bad stuff that could happen. And they are doing it up to now. Yeah. Every week I'm told, Daniela, come back to Germany. And I'm always like, no, I'm not coming back to Germany. They are just afraid that something happens to me. They are afraid that I might move to a country where I'm not able to go home easily if something happens to them. Yeah. So what the other people in our surroundings are telling us are mostly issues of themselves. That's what they are anxious of. But we don't see it. And then we are thinking like, oh no, we really can't do this. We should listen to them. And it's never too late to start living your life. It's never too late to start listening to what you want to do. I started with 39, I'm 47. The next move will be in about, what is it today, 4th of, so 26 days. In 26 days, I'm moving again. So it's never too late. If you want to do something, go for it. What can happen? What can happen is, yeah, you fail in this country, maybe business-wise, but the experience that you get in the foreign country or in a different city, if you want to move within your country, if you go to a different city, the experiences that you get will give you so much strength for the upcoming time, for the new adventures after that. And you can always go back to your hometown.
Yeah, I like this phrase, that there is always a safe space, which is home, yeah, regardless where is it. But yeah, this is what we used to as a human being, because this is how our brain, all type of brain is developed, is trying to secure us, and keeping us these limiting beliefs. But what was basically the breaking moment, Daniela, in your case, we say, no, now I need to do it? Was it the phrase? Was it, I don't know, video or YouTube, whatever? Where was this moment when you can say, when I listened that, I don't know, it was person, was it event in your life, when you said, no, it's the time where I'm taking the charge of my life and I'm stop listening my parents, moving out of my bubble. Okay, boyfriend, I'm listening, I'm loving you, but I'm still start moving. What was it?
It was a bit different in my case. So I was about to move to Egypt to marry to officially marry my ex-boyfriend at that time. And then we were planning to live in Sharm el-Sheikh, but that fell through because of several reasons. And at the same time, my project at the logistics company in Germany stopped. So they were like, okay, project is ending now. It's ending. I got the notice, I think, 4 months before. And they were like, okay, you have the choice. You can stay here. We will give you this kind of job, which was below what I was doing. And I was like, I don't want that job. And then for doing that job, you need to fire the three people who are working in that job at the moment for me. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. I don't want them to lose their jobs just because I have to work in the job that I don't like. And then they were like, yeah, but then you have to go because we don't have any other options for you right now. And I was like, okay, what's about an option in a foreign country? And they were like, okay, let's check, but they didn't have. And at that time, Apple called me and I was like, I want to go to a foreign country. That was clear because I was sick of being in Germany. And then with the plan, which fell through, going to Egypt, I was like, I want to go abroad. I want to go abroad. So what am I doing? So I was looking around. I got an offer for being a coach in Morocco, which fell down. I was really sad because this was my biggest opportunity. And I was like, okay, no, but I have to follow my dreams. I have to follow my dreams. I'm 39 now. I don't want to be stuck anymore in Germany. I don't have a relationship. I don't have any responsibilities at the moment here. Yeah. Mm-hmm. At the same time, more or less, shortly before, my stepfather has Alzheimer's, and then he went into a bad stage at that time. So my mom really wanted me to stay in Germany, but I was like, I'm really sorry for that, but I can't. I need to follow my heart first. I need to go. If I want to come back, I will come back, and I will stay in Europe so that I'm close and then come back. So there were many things in my life going on at that time. And I made the decision, but the decision actually to leave Germany, I did with 18. I did with 18 already, but I was stuck in that sense like, oh no, I have to be the good child. I have to be the good girlfriend, the good wife. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to, and it's not like I have to do what they say, but I always have to have the consent of this, yeah, of the decisions and then things like this. And at that time I was like, no, I need to be selfish now. And that's it. Because I lost so many things throughout the years. I need to be selfish now.
Okay. And that selfishness, which is self-care, following your, and
Yeah.
that people who are achieving great things in their life, there is a moment when they have to say to the loved ones, sometimes it's a parent, sometimes it's a relationship, you know, with their husband, when they have said, sorry, I need to leave because for my good of good things in my life, you know. So I fully understand. This is really so thank you very much for sharing that with us. And where we can find you. I know when we had a discussion previously, you mentioned, Kornelia, I'm working on something very special, your courses, your trainings, like you mentioned, the pillars. So for our audience, where they can find you and what are you working for as a next project? If you can pull the curtains a little bit, that would be really great.
So you can find me on LinkedIn with Daniela Elster, on Facebook with either Daniela Elster or Sunrise Delight. On Instagram, I am there. I'm checking out at the moment. I'm trying a new name just to see how it's working with Divine Living Coach. And as I said, the new course or the new training. So what am I doing? The new training is on a platform called Mastermind. The platform is from Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins. So I'm one of their training associates. So I'm not really working for them, but we did a first part training for this new platform, and then there I'm in the group. So the training that I'm giving is about becoming a belief warrior. So changing your mindset, because we don't even know how much negativity we have in our mind or in our words throughout the day. And this has an impact on us. Even when we are saying things, how often do we use the F word? How often do we say, oh, this is not fair? Yeah. And then, and whenever we use these words, this has an effect on how we feel. And even the background where we are coming from, our parents used maybe words which have still an impact on us. It's not that they knew about what they are doing. Yeah. It's also learned from their parents. But it's up to us to see how can we change this? How can we change the communication that we have with ourselves first, and then the communication that we have maybe with others? How can we change it, and how can we have this in stable terms? So it's the part where we really go deep into ourselves and check out what's going on. Where are we? What are the beliefs that we still have about ourselves? And then it's about how can we use creativity? How can we use daily habits to become stable in our new mindset, in our new positive wordings? And that's what the training is about. On top of that, I give one-on-one coachings. One is also about belief systems. And I use coaching cards with that. I can check if I have one here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, oops. I have points of view coaching cards. This is a phototherapy. And there you have, for example, a card. It's a big bunch of cards, but you choose several cards for your issues. Maybe you choose them blindly, but you can also choose them face up. And then I ask certain questions. And with that, you are able to really shift your mindset in an easy way. because it's pictures, it's words, and you're coming to your own conclusions. It's working really great. So I do a one-on-one of changing belief systems, and I do a one-on-one for people who are on the way to change their life, but they don't know what to change. They only know they need to change something. They have this urge that I had, and they are not able to see or to really connect with that urge, because they are not sure. Is it that I want to have a different job? Is it that I need to change something in my relationship? Is it that I need to change something in my overall life? So moving to a different place, moving to a different house, moving to a different city. And with that, it's that I work with, for sure, also with the coaching cards, but there we also implement, okay, which steps do I need to do to finally live the lives of my dreams? So it's a holistic approach also, like, okay, we start checking in with the coaching cards. Where am I? What do I want to do? And then it's like, okay, what are the next steps that I need to do? And then we can have follow-up meetings on what's going on, and then maybe have also deeper looks in what needs to be done then.
It's amazing. I mean, you are truly gifted coach in the sense, like experiencing that and bringing to the operational mode, if we can call it like this. And you're absolutely right. Even in our society, and sometimes it happened to us, basically, that we want to make changes, but we still don't know that, like, dress is not fitting. I don't know, something is not working well, yeah. And I'm really grateful that we have you, whom I support people doing that, and this is really amazing. And especially the methods, because the methods which you share, it's based on your experience, but you tweak it through the Daniela spin and Daniela experience, which is really also unique in that sense. Okay, Daniela, we are running to the end of our interview. It was amazing to have you here. I'm pretty sure we are going to stay in touch, and you will be also visiting us in Frankfurt Club to experience more, to give more. And guys, if you like this type of interviews, and if you like and Daniela story, just give us the like, put the comments, and you know how to find Daniela, because we'll put all the links and the description which Daniela mentioned into this episode, so you're going to easily find her. Daniela, it was a pleasure to have you here, and sending you greetings to Barcelona, because you are recording from Barcelona.
Yes.
This time, yeah? So.
Thank you so much for having me, Kornelia. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.